We're here with Sean Mannion, senior quarterback at Oregon State. Sean, you set the Pac-12 record last year for yards in a season. Talk about kind of following up that this year and obviously trying to win a Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, like you said, wins are the only thing that really matters to me. Everything else is just kind of icing on the cake. The stats or whatnot is cool, but what you remember 20 years from now is the wins you had, and what you really care about is winning a title. It's not any record you might hold.
Sure. This has been a busy summer for you. I know you went to the Mannion Academy. You got to hang out with Peyton and Eli. What was that experience like for you?
That was a great experience. I just tried to be around them as much as possible, see the way they do things in drills, and ask them questions as much as I could. They're both, obviously, when you think of the quarterback position in the NFL, you think of the Mannions, and getting to know them as well. They're great guys, real approachable. So it was great for me to have a chance to kind of pick their brain a little bit.
Well, what'd you pick up?
I asked them a lot of questions about film study and how they not only prepare for an opponent during the year, but also their approach to kind of reviewing film in the off season. That was a big thing I asked them about. They're legendary for the way they prepare, and then the other thing I picked up on was just their approach to everything. The way they approach a practice, a drill, a throw, a rep. It's just really impressive to see. How focused they are and how conscientious they are of what they need to work on and what how this applies to a game or a particular play.
Obviously, you have a season to still finish up here. Have you given the NFL a thought in the whole draft process? And obviously, your name's kind of emerged, especially after the summer, as a guy who could potentially even be a first-round pick.
I haven't really thought much about it. The bottom line is you just want to be the best football player you can be. So that's really all I'm thinking of is how can I improve as a player, and I'm worried about what's going on here at Oregon State, not a year from now. So I just try to improve day by day, and ultimately in the end that's what's going to matter is how much improvement can I make, and how's our team going to do this year.
Well, unlike a lot of teams in college football these days, you guys actually run a pro-style offense. You're taking snaps under center, and you get to learn from a guy like Mike Riley as well, who has been a long-time coach, including in the NFL. Obviously, that gives you an advantage heading to the next level. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair to say. Coming out of high school, I was a pro-style guy coming out of high school, and I felt great about the system fit at Oregon State, and I think it's been the best decision I've made in my life. Coming to Oregon State and playing for Coach Riley. He's an outstanding coach who knows a lot not only about football but particularly about pro-style offense, and I feel like I've learned a lot from him and definitely grown as a player.
There was a lot made about the balance of your offense last year because you guys just threw it. I mean, you were so successful throwing it.
Yeah.
Talk about having a little bit more of a balance this year. Not necessarily 50-50, but maybe being able to run a little bit better, and especially since you don't have a guy like Brandon Cooks to throw the ball to, I guess.
Yeah, that's come up a lot, and we're in a perfect world. You want to be balanced, but we're also not going to drive ourselves nuts trying to be perfectly 50-50. Things are going to come up. Last year, we had a great weapon in Brandon, who was a receiver, so it only makes sense to get him the ball as much as you can. And then things happen. Maybe one week a team's a little tougher against the run than the pass. Maybe in a game, you're trailing, or it's a 2-minute drill, or as the game goes on, they're giving you a better pass look than run. So you're always adjusting on the fly, and I think as things have come up, last year we felt better and better about the pass, but it's really been something we've worked on this offseason, is kind of getting back to center and becoming a little more balanced.
And last question, for maybe even people outside of the West who don't follow the Pac-12, how tough is it playing in the Pac-12 conference, particularly the Pac-12 North?
Yeah, it's real tough. It's real tough. I think what to me what makes our conference so strong is just top to bottom. There's a tough matchup every week. Every team's going to present a different challenge, something you have to adjust for from one week to the next. And to me, the strength, on all 12 teams is what really makes the Pac-12 such a great conference.
Yeah. And I lied. One more question. 10 quarterbacks return, and there's a handful that are legit NFL prospects. Just talk about the group of quarterbacks, and you guys talk to each other at all, or?
Yeah, as a kind of made my way through these camps this offseason. I had a chance to meet some of the other guys, get to know them a little better, and you know, I consider them friends. You know, and you love competing against your friends and people you know. And I think for me, what makes the Pac-12 so great, you know, quarterback-wise, is just the history of it. You know, I know when I came out of high school, I kind of set my sights on, you know, I want to play quarterback in the Pac-12. You know, there's so many great names. I grew up watching Aaron Rodgers at Cal. You know, there's John Elway at Stanford. You know, Terry Baker won the Heisman at Oregon State. You know, back in the day. You know, there's just so many quarterbacks that have come through this conference. I think it just, you know, continues on and on. It's something I thought about coming out of high school, and I'm sure for recruits now, they're probably saying the same thing.